When you're disempowered, you might do one of three things. You will attack, withdraw, or people please. These behaviors in the moment feel really protective, but what they're actually doing is escalating conflict, shutting down connection. They're leaving you feel unheard, building resentment, or the one that's always apologizing, the one that's always compromising. And it reinforces unhealthy relationship patterns in your marriage.
Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. As a marriage coach who's married with 3 kids, I know how much parenthood could change a marriage. If flirting, laughing, and having fun together feels like a thing of the past, then I'm here to teach you that marriage doesn't have to feel so hard with your parents, and your marriage can thrive even when you're in the season of raising kids. Whether you're in a good place in your marriage and you just want to continue growing together, or you're wondering if you even like your spouse anymore, this podcast has something for you. Join me here each week as we dive into what it takes to help your marriage grow and maybe even do a 180. You'll learn ways to handle conflict better, bring that spark back into your relationship, as well as learn how to improve other areas of your life from my lovely guest experts. Are you ready for the next stage of your life in marriage? Let's dive in.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about how you can start feeling more empowered in your arguments with your spouse. The last thing I want you to feel is disempowered in your communication. And when we feel disempowered during our conversations, that's when we start to do the things that contribute to the resentment, the lack of respect, the break in connection, and the miscommunication in the relationship. And so I want to help you go from feeling like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? And why didn't I stand up for myself? And why did I do that when I was upset? To feeling more proud of how you're showing up, knowing that A, you are fully advocating for yourself, B, you're doing it in a healthy way, and C, that it actually supports healthier communication with your spouse so that you can spend more time feeling connected rather than arguing. Okay. Now, I will say that this is something that I have worked on heavily with myself, and this is something that I work on heavily with my clients as well. So if you ever feel bad about how you're behaving in arguments, but also feeling a little bit righteous about it, like, well, they deserve that, they shouldn't have provoked me, you are not alone, okay? I've had all these same feelings. I've had all these same thoughts. I've done all of those things. And in my worst moments, even now, they sometimes slip up, okay? We're human. Our emotions can get the better of us sometimes. And I want to help you learn how you can start to recognize when you are in a disempowered state and how to shift into an empowered state when it comes to communicating. Most of my clients, when they come work with me, they tend to feel anxious or unsure during conflict. They don't feel confident at all. They feel like they're walking on eggshells or they're bracing for a blow up or shutdown, either from their partner or from themselves. They're struggling to express how they feel without sounding like too emotional or being dismissed or being abrasive, or they're going quiet to keep the peace and saying things that they regret later. But after working with me, they enter conversations feeling more grounded, more clear, and they know what they feel, they know what they need. They can speak with confidence and calm, even when things get heated. And they're able to pause, pivot, and steer the conversation toward connection. They're setting boundaries, they have the tools to healthily communicate with their spouse, and they know how to repair and reconnect instead of letting arguments linger and build into deep resentment. So you can learn how to change how communication is going in your marriage, even if you didn't have examples growing up. Even if all of your friends are communicating this way, you can totally make this change so that your marriage can thrive. Okay. So let's go into common behaviors that we do when we feel disempowered and the impact behind them. When you're disempowered, you might do one of three things or some of three things. You will attack, withdraw, or people please. Okay. So that's kind of like a different take on fight, flight, or fawn. And so attacking looks like criticizing, getting defensive, dismissing what your partner is saying, blaming them, judging them, or even shaming them. Withdrawing looks like shutting down emotionally, giving the cold shoulders, giving silent treatment, walking away, or people pleasing. You're going to abandon your needs because you think that that's what's going to help this situation come to an end, right? You're going to end the argument by just saying, okay, you're right. Yes, we'll do it that way. And you're essentially not advocating for yourself, which creates resentment. So that's not healthy either. Okay. These behaviors in the moment feel really protective, but what they're actually doing is escalating conflict, shutting down connection. They're leaving you feel unheard, building resentment within you, or the one that's always apologizing, the one that's always compromising. And it reinforces unhealthy relationship patterns in your marriage. Okay. So if you just think back to your last argument that you had with your husband, were you showing up from a place of disempowerment or empowerment? Just something to note. Okay. So here are things that you can start to do if you want to feel more empowered. This is part of my peace communication method. The first one with the P is pause. We do not do this enough. Okay. Not nearly enough. If you're the kind of partner who likes to jump into fixing things right away, as soon as you feel like that disconnect, you're like, we got to talk about it right now. You got to pump the brakes. As a fellow impatient person, I want you to understand why you're doing this. And if, on the other hand, you're the partner who takes more time to process, this is also important for you to hear. If you feel the need to jump in right away and resolve the issue and talk it out without pausing to process how you feel, you are doing this because you don't feel secure in your relationship in that moment. You are feeling anxious because you don't know what's going to happen next. So you feel the need to repair immediately so that you can feel at peace. So, great intentions. However, this is not the way to set up your conversation for success. So, my invitation to you, if you are like me, is to think long game. Yes, this is you trying to repair. Yes, this is you showing you care about the relationship because otherwise you wouldn't bother. However, when we go in not feeling grounded, not having fully processed how we feel, what we want, what we need, what our triggers were, what we did to contribute to the situation, you're going to be so easily triggered by the conversation because one, you don't even have any clarity around what's going on inside of you. Two, you're going to be figuring out what you're feeling and thinking and needing while they're talking. So that means you're not listening to them, right? Three, you're going to end up doing things and saying things to protect yourself because you haven't stepped into owning your side of the street, right? You don't have full clarity and confidence in, okay, this is why things happen this way. This is how I felt. This is what I want. No, you haven't even allowed your emotions to settle. And when our emotions are high, our patience is low, our compassion is low, our curiosity is low. All the things that we need for a successful conversation to happen, they're not here. Instead, what's available to you is reactivity. So pausing by taking a deep breath, removing yourself from the situation to process what's happening, but communicating that that's what you're doing so it doesn't look like you're abandoning them. That's going to help so much. And you could do grounding exercises. You can do deep breathing. You can put your feet on the ground. You can Soften your shoulders on purpose. You can place your hands on your heart. You can go for a walk. You can sing. Do something to help your body regulate. Okay. And then check in on yourself. What am I feeling? What do I need right now? What did I need to happen for this to go differently? What am I asking of him? What do I want out of this conversation? Questions like these are going to help you gain that clarity to have a more productive conversation. Because you can't have a productive conversation if you have no idea what you even need or how you feel. Okay. It is not up to your partner to figure that out for you. I'm sorry. It'd be awesome if they did because it would take much less work for us, but they can't. They barely know what's going on with them. And so we each got to take responsibility for being self aware. Okay. And then, of course, share that. Communicate clearly, calmly, intentionally, respectfully, compassionately, and share what went on. If your language is going to be filled with blame, criticism, I told you so, why'd you do this, I can't believe any of that, take more time to yourself, okay? Because none of that accusatory language is going to nurture a productive conversation that comes out with you two feeling more connected. If anything, that's going to come off as an attack, and then they're going to get defensive or criticize you back or whatever, and then you're going to spiral out of control. And we don't want to get to that place where we feel disempowered again. We want to feel empowered. And a way to feel empowered is to pause first, figure yourself out, go into the conversation in a way where you are fostering connection through the conversation, not to show him what he did wrong, not to prove yourself right, but truly go there with open arms, open heart, fully wanting to work this out together and come out of it stronger. That's how you're going to feel empowered. Because when we feel grounded, we create this sense of safety within ourselves. We're not looking for our partner to do it. When we look for our partner to do it and they don't pick up on that cue or they're not available for that because they're dysregulated, we are setting ourselves up for failure when really we have the key to do that for ourselves. Okay. We can certainly set boundaries to ensure that the conversation goes in a healthy direction. But at the end of the day, if we can go into the conversation feeling grounded and clear, that's what's going to help us feel empowered rather than handing over the keys for someone else to dictate how we're going to feel. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You don't need to control your partner or avoid conflict to feel safe. What you need more is to feel empowered, which is something that you can give to yourself. As much as I would love to write a script for my husband to follow it when we are going through conflict, that's not how life works. And plus, even if he did do that, I would have no idea if he actually meant it, right? Instead of just blindly following directions to get out of the situation. I want you to feel empowered. So, how can you support yourself to feel more empowered during conflict? The answer is pausing and processing what is going on before you speak. Okay. If you need something like easy or catchy to remember, just think ground, then speak. Okay. Just try that. Even in the little moments where you feel annoyed, not quite angry, but annoyed, try that. Ground, then speak. This is how you're going to go from surviving arguments to actually growing through them. Okay. Conflict is supposed to be there to help you grow together as a couple. It's not there to destroy your relationship. So the answer isn't to avoid them, it's to change how you experience them. All right. So go try that. Let me know how that works out for you. And I want to share my free guide with you. If you are wanting support with processing and you're wanting prompts on how do I navigate this, I don't even know what to ask myself, download my free conflict to connection guide. Okay. It's got prompts to help you understand yourself better, communicate more effectively so that you can start the conversation on a better foot and set your conversation up for success. Go check that out. Try doing this ground then speak method and If you know someone that could benefit from listening to this episode, share it with them. Better yet, share this episode in your stories and tag me so I can say thank you. If you love this show, please go leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. I would so appreciate that. And that's it for this episode. I will catch you back here on the next one. Bye.
That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please send me a message over on Instagram at Michelle Perta Coaching to let me know what you loved most about it. Hearing from my listeners is my absolute favorite. And if you've been loving this podcast, please leave a rating and review. This will help people like you find the show and get the help they need. Catch you here on the next episode. Bye.